Did you and Bill O'Brien fight each other? Do you remember that was?
Yeah.
That was we talked about this earlier. Because we talked about college coaches that end up in the NFL and then do college, and how a lot of college guys have not had success in the NFL. And Bill O'Brien's name was on the list, so we just started chit-chatting about his Houston stay, where he was head coach, GM, lead counsel, hydration specialist. I think he had every job in the entire building at one point. And then there was a massive blow up that the reports were you took his face and punched right through it. Was that real? Was there any of that was real? And how much of that were you keeping track of towards the end of Billy O'Brien's run with the Texans?
Yeah, no, we never got into a physical altercation. No, there's no secret at all. We had a few scuffles, arguments here and there, but that's what coaches and players do. I mean, I talk to Bill all the time. I talked to him literally last week. We have a lot of respect for each other, and as a player, when you're going through the ups and downs, you're gonna have those types of situations. We've seen it with him, with Brady on the sidelines. He's a very, very fiery guy, and that you almost have to be in sports. And so we definitely had some spirited debates at times, but no, it never came to a physical altercation between me and Bill. There are some things that we agreed on and some things we disagreed on, and I had no problem voicing that, and he had no problem voicing it. But we're still we're good friends to this day. We're going to get some beer together at some point and just enjoy a conversation.
Hey, he's a good football coach, it feels like. You know, the Houston thing, obviously interesting. You would know better than anybody behind the scenes on what's all taking place. But him going back to New England here with Mac Jones has been a huge thing. And I like the fact that everybody just knows, like, yeah, Bill O'Brien. You hear that? Brian, the Irish, you know, he does run a little bit hot, but I think that has made him the great coach that he is too in certain situations, like this particular one back up in New England.
Yeah, Bill's an extremely hard worker. I mean, he'll be the first one in the building, the last one to leave. He's working his ass off. I honestly think that part of the thing that made things go a little bit astray was how many different hats he ended up putting on in Houston. As a coach, he's a good coach. There's no doubt. I just think once you start stacking all those responsibilities on top of each other, it's just a shitload to handle, man. It's a lot to do and a lot of knowledge you have to have and a lot of hours you have to put in. And it's very tough to handle and juggle all those things at the same time.
Yeah, well, I'm happy we put that to bed because I thought for sure you know what I mean? I thought there was a couple, you know what I mean?
No. But shit, that would be interesting.
It would have been cool. You do, because you're a hockey player too.
Yeah.
What if you actually put gloves on and grabbed a hockey stick and then said, hey, Bill, you know this? And then gloves.
Where does the line get drawn? So like in practice, players can fight, obviously, no problem. Not assault. It's literally football practice. Player goes after a coach. That does seem to get a little more like,
assault.
All right, are we in like assault territory? Like, where does the line get drawn? What's acceptable?
Because if the coach does anything to player, probably getting right?
Yeah, I feel like that's bad.
So player probably can't.
AJ, would you fight a coach? Where do we land here?
Man, I mean, you may want to fight a coach, but there may be some charges pressed either way. I mean, the coach might want to press some charges on you, especially if you put those big old meat claws on somebody.
Yeah, you're talking about your meat claws you got up there.
You'd be paying a lot of money.
Yeah, imagine you just busted Bill O'Brien's face. You'd be paying lawsuits for the next.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that'd be incredible.
Well, this year in New England, I know Bill O'Brien. I don't know if they did it in Houston or not, but they drew the line like a step after a cup check. So if you were to smack someone in the nuts, that's kind of the line right there, right this year.
Hey, let's talk about that. Have you ever played against Mac Jones? And have you seen all of the different clips of Mac Jones? And do you think that's something that defense are saying whenever they're playing against Mac Jones? Hey, JJ, if you get to Mac Jones, let's remember he did slap somebody in the nuts last time we played. Is that a conversation that's taking place in reality?
I think you definitely know the history. I think that it's definitely discussed the history. I don't think that you do anything extra or different. But I do think that as evidence mounts and you start to stack more things on top of more things, it becomes not just a one-off. It's a habit. And it is interesting. And as the conversation grows and grows, the strange thing is once something's called out, generally that kind of ends it. But it's been called out multiple times, and it obviously hasn't slowed down. So it's
he just gets. I gotta do it. I gotta hit him in the ball. You know what I mean? They've already caught.
It's right there.
It's right there. What am I supposed to do? How is that? Boom! That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Had to do it. Had to do it. Keep it moving.